is version 12.3.1 in Canada. I used it on my way in this morning. It was really dark, so I didn't really want to record. And it always beeps at you for the cameras being obscured because it doesn't realize you're driving in a dark country road. So this is the first drive during daylight on 12.3.1. Just a normal drive home from work for me. Didn't even realize that I had 12.3.1 because their release notes were so misleading. Alright, red light, lots of busy traffic exiting work. Sees lots of the cars coming, that's good. Well done. This is much better. It used to think that the speed here was 40. It's actually 80, but that's okay. At least it's more reasonable. Hopefully it should read this speed sign up here and get me back up to a proper speed. There we are. Wow, that read that from quite a ways away. So what I'm going to do is just on my way home, I'm going to commentate on anything that's interesting. Otherwise, I'll fast forward it through any of the boring parts. But we took it out for a quick spin last night, and I'll tell you, there are so many different things that it does well. So many. Driving when there's no dotted line in the middle, like in subdivisions, so much better. The on-ramps and signaling to merge, like the time it signals, it gives a lot more warning. Just like I could just go on and on about the improvements in this version over the previous one. But most importantly, it's just the smoothness of it all. I know everyone says that, but it really is noticeable. It's hard to see on video, but it's pretty impressive. Sorry about that little spinorama there. Previous versions of full self-driving had a hard time with these black lines on the road. All the repairs would confuse it as to where the actual lane markings are, but this seems to be managing it quite fine. It's actually been better for the last couple of versions of full self-driving. That was an unusually hard brake and way too soon. I'm not sure I'm going 23 kilometers per hour up to this person. I also notice it tends to hug the right-hand side of the lane a lot more than it used to. You can see it right there on the visualization that it knows it's doing that. Oh, that's a nice aggressive zip across that highway. It used to just creep across there and put you in life and imminent danger. But fortunately, it seems to have got much more aggressive at a pickup there, so that was awesome. While I'm driving along here, I'm going to just show you the release notes. So when I first downloaded this software, I was quite excited, hoping I might get full self-driving version 12. But you can see that for the 2023.44.30.30, it just says it's minor fixes. It says this release contains minor fixes. And the branch that it's coming off of, 2023.44.30, says it's full self-driving beta 11.4.9. So when I first got this, I was like, oh, disappointed. It wasn't until I was listening to Dylan Loomis of Electrified that he pointed out that this actually contained 12.3.1. So I came out to my vehicle and looked at the software, and of course, if you go down here, full self-driving beta software, version 12.3.1. Anyway, it was quite the eye-opening experience that they consider going from version 11 to version 12 a minor fix.
I guess it's good that most of this drive is just uneventful and driving perfectly on a whole bunch of different roadways. But coming up is a very unusual intervention that's required that I've never actually seen on any of my other versions of Full Self-Driving Beta.
Well, that's been mostly a boring drive, which is good news, I guess. Although to be fair, version 11 handled that part pretty well as well. Now we're coming up on a turn here. Yeah, it missed that turn altogether. So let it reroute. Alright, so we had a disengagement there. It was just not slowed down enough to make that corner and just blew right by it. So I just took over and didn't let it finish doing that turn. This is curious. I've re-engaged full self-driving, and now we seem biased towards the left side of the lane. See if that persists. Now that was going to take a non-standard route home, which I was kind of looking forward to, but looks like we'll take the more typical route home. And looks like we've biased over to the right side of the lane again. I really like that the signal comes on much sooner, gives a lot more warning to those driving around you. That's a really good improvement. That was a nicely done corner. Stopped a little far back and then went from there, but that works.
I really appreciate you joining me for this drive. Sorry that it's not any more interesting. I'm just so excited to actually have 12.3.1 that I had to record the very first drive that I took. Coming up onto my town here, we'll get a bit more before we finish up.
Well, this is a strange routing option. That would have been a much better spot to turn, but that's okay. It seems to be taking quite a while to slow down again once you get into town. Let's see if it makes this corner as well. Signaling in plenty of time, so that's good. We've got a truck coming up here. He's kind of sticking his nose out a little bit. Let's just see how it does. That seems nice and smooth. Brilliant. No complaints there. So I'm just about home, so that's going to be a great drive. So I didn't record my drive to work. It was disengagement free, and I did have to give it just a little bit of gas to get across a busy highway. I think it was going to be okay, but I didn't want drivers around me to worry. On the way home, just one disengagement because it missed a turn. It was just going too fast, so I took over. But other than that, looks like a beautiful driveway to driveway drive to and from work with almost no interventions. Not bad in rural Ontario. That was an easy four-way stop, so nothing to write home about there. But boy, oh boy, I just cannot get over how much smoother this version of Full Self-Driving is. Anyway, I'll probably take it out for another test drive and give it a little bit more challenging environment other than a straightforward trip to work and back. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to buy a Tesla, use my link down below. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers. Oh, this is so much better. I used to drive right in the middle of the road going around these corners, and I was worried that I was going to crash into someone if they came around the corner, or at least scare them. It always moved out of the way. Now this stop sign up on the right here tends to cause it some grief because it thinks it's facing my way. Yeah, it's going to stop here because it thinks there's a stop sign, but I can't really blame it for that. That side is twisted a little bit. not bad. I think I would have kind of run with him as well.